Game Night with Josh Hennig on 97.3 ESPN and the free mobile app. Now, live from the Matt Black Kia Studios.
What a move!
Here's Josh Hennig.
Hump Day Wednesday edition of Game Night on the final Wednesday of the month of August. Yes, summer is coming to an end, but the good news is football season is here. Glad to have you guys on board the show. Of course, it's a Wednesday, which means we'll check in with 97.3 ESPN.com sports columnist Dave Weinberg coming up in 20 minutes for this week's edition of Weinberg Wednesday. Eagles making more moves today. We'll get to those here on the show, plus some other topics from around the NFL and sports as a whole. You can join the conversation. 609-403-0973 is the text board. You also can DM the show through the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Sea Isle. Got college football starting tomorrow. The NFL just basically a week and a day away because the schedule starts next week. The first NFL game of the season is next Thursday night. And you can hear the games right here on 97.3 ESPN. The Eagles made another trade today. And I have to say it's a trade that I did not explicitly anticipate on happening. I did not expect this trade to happen, but it did. The Eagles traded Jalen Reagor. And I was not in denial about Reagor being traded because I didn't think they could find value for him. I was in doubt about the Eagles trading him because I think Howie was going to drive a hard bargain. That's what I assumed was going to happen. Again, my perspective. So, as far as I look at it, you have a situation where you found a team that was willing to acquire him and you got a good return for him. And I call it a good return because, as Mike Gill pointed out earlier today on the Sports Bash, when the Cowboys traded Amari Cooper to the Browns, what they got in return for that trade was a 6 overall pick in 2022. And that was pretty much it. A 5th and a 6th round pick. It's nothing. For a guy as productive as Amari Cooper has been, the Eagles basically just got the same thing. So, is it that Amari Cooper and Jalen Reagor are worth the same amount? Is it Howie Roseman was able to work the system and find a team that was willing to give him something? Look, I think at the end of the day, I think that there's a middle ground between the people who hated on Jalen Reagor, the people who thought that just because the Eagles drafted him and they didn't draft Justin Jefferson, that the guy was never going to be good. I think that perspective was always ridiculous. You got a 7th round pick in this upcoming draft and a conditional 4th round pick in the next year's draft because Jalen Reagor has talent. You watched him at TCU. You saw there was a talented player there. But as I told Rob Motti earlier this week on Game Night here on 97.3 ESPN, Rob Motti will be joining us each Monday throughout the NFL season. Rob and I talked about the fact that Reagor had a very difficult transition to the NFL. He had no rookie minicamp, no OTAs, and he was coming into the Philadelphia in his rookie year in a COVID environment. And you could argue that the Eagles The Eagles made a lot of mistakes, it looks like, in that 2020 draft. All right. Rager obviously is not working out. He got traded. Jalen Hurts is your starting quarterback. The jury is still on him. They just cut Davion Taylor. Kevon Wallace barely made the roster. Jack Driscoll is probably your best backup tackle guard, and you got him in the 4th round. He's an above average spot starter, is Jack Driscoll. So that was a good pick. John Hightower in the 5th round hasn't really paid off. Sean Bradley is basically a special teams guy at this point. Quez Watkins is either your 3rd or 4th receiver, which is pretty good for a 6th round pick. Prince Tengo Wanau is in Kansas City, I believe, still. At Casey Toohill, you dumped him off. So most of your draft class is gone. In fact, most of your 2019 and 2020 draft classes are gone. Or they're just not making an impact as you wanted them to. And Rager, I'm convinced that guys like Rager and Taylor were already behind the 8 ball. So the fact they didn't have success here, I think might be twofold. I think, one, there were a lot of teams that suffered not being able to scout and go through the draft process as they usually do. Because when things were, quote unquote, back to normal this past year and the year before, 2021, 2022 drafts, the Eagles did a heck of a lot better than 2020. 2019 was the last year of the Joe Douglas draft board. So, we could argue till the cows come home, why the 2019 draft class wasn't as good. Obviously, J.J. Arcega-Whiteside, complete failure. Miles Sanders is a good NFL starting running back. He's not a great player, though. Andre Dillard basically lost his job to the greatest 6th, 7th round pick of all time in Eagles history at this point. I mean, I'm not trying to be hyperbole, but when the Eagles drafted Mailata in the 7th round, nobody thought he was going to be what he is today, which is one of the arguably 10 best left tackles in the NFL. So the last year of the Joe Douglas draft board, the Eagles took Dillard, who would probably be a starting left tackle on most NFL teams. I'm sure the Cowboys would love to have him, but instead they're calling Jason Peters. Miles Sanders, as I mentioned, solid NFL starting running back. Jay Jaw, they dumped him. He's a bust. Sharif Miller, he was a failure. And Clayton Thorson was a complete failure. So then Joe Douglas gets the Jets job, and Andy Weidel is running basically the scouting board for Howie Roseman in 2020. And I have to wonder, did the failures of 2020, was that a byproduct of the COVID environment? Because if it impacted Jalen Rager the way that we are discussing, could it possibly have also impacted Davion Taylor, a guy who almost didn't play almost any high school football because of his mom's religious beliefs? He went to college. He was already behind the 8 ball there, and he got drafted to play in Jim Schwartz's defense. And then Jonathan Gannon became the D coordinator and maybe didn't fit into that defense. Kevon Wallace has been a complete disappointment, okay? And I've told you guys before, I look at Wallace and I wonder, is he just not the guy we thought he was, the guy we saw in college? I think a Driscoll was a win. I think the drafting of Driscoll is a win because he is a more than capable fill-in at tackle or guard if they need him to be. He may be one of the best backup offensive linemen in the NFL. So trading Rager and getting something for him is a huge win in the Howie Roseman column. And you could indirectly say that J-Jaw has parlayed into Chauncey Gardner-Johnson because you traded J.J. Arcega-Whiteside for Hugo Amadi. Then you traded Hugo Amadi to Tennessee for a 6th round pick. That 6th round pick was part of the compensation deal that got you Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. So Howie Roseman basically parlayed two of the worst draft picks of the Eagles in the last 4 years, J-Jaw and Rager, in terms of on-field production, the two worst, into Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, right? And draft picks. Look, I give Howie a lot of credit. I've never been a Howie lover. I've never been a Howie hater. I've been reluctantly the man pounding the table, defending the guy more often than not because people were being so irrational. But this is what good GMs do. They make mistakes, they learn from them, and they move on, and they evolve, and they grow from it. That's what you do everything in life. And I think Howie Roseman has figured out the best way to handle the past failures. Look, did they hang on to J-Jaw a little too long? Sure. Did they need to draft Rager when they did? No, they didn't. But there's a lot of one of the problems with the Eagles, and I think this also gets overlooked in a lot of these conversations. Josh Hennig hanging out with you, by the way, here on Game Night on 97.3 ESPN, the final day of August. Hope you're having a great day out there. Talking some Eagles today as they made a bunch of moves with the roster. I'll get to the rest of the moves in just a moment. But I just want to put this back on the burner for just a moment. Okay, let this boil a little bit in your minds for a second. There's a lot of controversy around the Eagles about who was actually responsible for drafting J-Jaw and Rager. There's a lot of speculation out there that the owner, Jeffrey Lurie, said that the Eagles should draft Arcega-Whiteside. There's a lot of speculation that Arcega-Whiteside was not wanted by a lot of the Eagles people. Okay? There was a lot of reporting out there that Rager was a guy that the Eagles coaching staff wanted more than the Eagles scouts and front office wanted because supposedly Doug Peterson viewed him as the next Deshaun Jackson, okay? And you can go through the Eagles draft picks over the last 2 years of the Doug Peterson era. There's a lot of speculation that a lot of the guys the Eagles drafted in 2020 and 2019 were guys that either Doug Peterson or somebody else had a say in and how we kind of compromised with them on that. So I would say just keep that in mind when we have these conversations about Howie Roseman's legacy, because I always wonder how much of Howie Roseman and what he does is him and how much it is somebody else in his ear. Now, to the other Eagles moves today, to me, the most shocking story of the day is the Eagles landing Ian Book. Ian Book was a guy coming out of college who was always viewed as, maybe like the next Chase Daniel, a guy who doesn't have great arm talent, but has the mental capacity to be a backup quarterback in the NFL. And a lot of people thought that he was going to be a big part of the Saints organization for years to come until Sean Payton retired and walked away from the Saints organization. The Eagles had both Carson Strong and Reed Sinnett in camp, and they cut them both. Reed Sinnett landed on the practice squad, and Ian Book is a guy who was out there, and the Eagles claimed him, and he's now going to be your number 3 quarterback. I don't know how long he's going to last because I can't promise you the Eagles are going to carry 3 quarterbacks all year long, but I have to wonder, Reed Sinnett's got to be sweat because he looked good in practices, according to reports, but he didn't look so good in the games, in the preseason games. So there's a part of me that's wondering, is Ian Book going to eventually steal Reed Sinnett's spot on the practice squad? Because we know that without Rager, you got to bring somebody in to be the kick and punt returner. And if I'm the Eagles, when I have guys like Devin Allen and Britton Covey and those kind of guys on your practice squad, I didn't bring them back just for nothing. I brought those guys back because they had the potential to have some real value for my team. And if they're going to have real value for my team, they might not be on the practice squad much longer. All right, there's a lot more to get to. We'll get to throughout the hour. You can chime in on the text board. 609-403-0973 is the text board. You also can DM the show through the 97.3 ESPN mobile app, powered by First Bank of Sea Isle City. It's a Weinberg Wednesday. Dave Weinberg, sports columnist for 97.3 ESPN.com, joins me next.
Better than that first cup of coffee in the morning. It's Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max. Weekdays starting at 6 on 97.3 ESPN and the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app.
At Penn Medicine, we understand that the highest quality cancer care is only as good as the people it reaches. That's why we're expanding our world-renowned radiation oncology program to the Jersey Shore. Penn Radiation Oncologists now provide state-of-the-art treatment at Shore Medical Center and Cape Regional Health System. You'll get individualized care delivered by Penn specialists who are leaders in the field. The most powerful force against cancer, now at the Jersey Shore. Learn more at pennmedicine.org/Jersey Shore.
Explore Banana Republic Factory now and enjoy 50% off everything from heritage classics to new arrivals for the season. Discover essential styles from $24.99. Find your nearest store or shop online only at Banana Republic Factory.
Have you ever noticed that when the afternoon light hits your floors, you can see everything, including dust?
So much dust.
And that floor dust gets kicked up into the air, compromising the quality of air you and your family breathe.
Eesh.
Swiffer Heavy Duty Sweeper is the fast and easy way to clean your floors, with ultra-thick pads that trap and lock dust before it gets in the air. Just a couple minutes a day,
And dust is gone.
Swiffer Heavy Duty Sweeper. Proud partner of the American Lung Association.
The Labor Day event from Dell Technologies is here. End the summer strong by starting up a new season of productivity. Your business upgrade begins with up to 48% off top-rated laptops, like Vostro, taking performance to the next level with 12th Gen Intel Core processors. It's time to push your growing business even further. What's next for you? Upgrade today by calling 877-ASK-DELL. That's 877-ASK-DELL.
Long weekends are all about getting a little you time. And at the Home Depot, you time starts with you saving. Saving space with an HDX 27-gallon Tough Tote for only $13.98. Saving time with a free and fast-charging 18-volt battery when you buy select Milwaukee Power Toolkits. And saving you a trip with free delivery on over 1 million items. Do Labor Day your way with savings right now at the Home Depot. How doers get more done.
Good news, New Jersey. More residents are getting quality, affordable health coverage through Get Covered New Jersey. Established by Governor Murphy, Get Covered New Jersey offers increased plan choices and more savings than ever. If you recently had a life event such as marriage, pregnancy, or insurance loss, you may qualify to enroll now. 9 in 10 enrolling get financial help for plans that include preventive care, prescriptions, and more. And if you meet certain income levels, you may qualify for low to no-cost coverage. Find your plan at getcovered.nj.gov.
When a nasty cold keeps you up all night, Vicks NyQuil Severe gives you powerful relief from your worst cold and flu symptoms, which changes a night that sounds like this into a night that sounds more like this. Ah, that's better. NyQuil Severe. The nighttime sniffling, sneezing, coughing, sore throat, stuffy head, aching, fever, best sleep with a cold medicine. Use as directed.
You've been putting back a few, and a few becomes a few too many. For a moment, you think of calling for a ride, but nah, you live nearby. What's the worst that could happen? You get pulled over, your insurance goes up, you lose your license, you total your car, you kill someone. The results of driving drunk are tragic. That's why law enforcement is out there looking for impaired drivers to save lives. So if you think you're okay to drive after a few drinks, think again. Drive sober or get pulled over. Paid for by NHTSA.
97.3 ESPN and TracFone Wireless want to share ideas with you for enjoying the great outdoors in South Jersey. Here are some popular outdoor ideas this spring. How about taking a walk on the Ocean City, Atlantic City, or Wildwood boardwalks? Or check out the perfect place to watch a sunset. How about the Point in Longport or the Cove in Brigantine? Brought to you by TracFone Wireless. Now you're in control.
Save thousands at Matt Blatt Kia. Get out of your old trade today, even if you owe thousands more than it's worth. Go to mattblattkianj.com for more details. That's mattblattkianj.com.
It's gotta be a
Matt Blatt Kia.
You're listening to Game Night with Josh Hennig on 97.3 ESPN and the free mobile app.
Well, considering it is the final Wednesday of August, it wouldn't be a Wednesday without Dave Weinberg. And I got to give Dave credit. Dave is down there golfing. He's living his best life. He's having the summer of all time. And he's still been making time to come on each week all summer long for Weinberg Wednesdays here on Game Night on 97.3 ESPN. And he is back at it. Dave, welcome back here. How is the golf game?
Up and down, Josh. I had a couple of rough days, but played very well today. And got one more round. I'm in the Myrtle Beach World Amateur Handicap Championship. I'm probably like middle of the pack on my flight. There's like 53 guys, and I think I'm like, I don't know, 24th or something like that with one round to go. So, but I'm having a really good time, meeting a lot of nice people and playing some great courses. So it's all good.
I mean, listen, the pictures you're posting look great. So, I mean, if nothing else, the visuals that you got down there of the course are really nice looking. I mean, I got to say that down there, they got some really nice courses, looks like.
Oh, yeah, they got a bunch of them, and some of them are like really, really nice. They've done a great job of putting us in some spectacular layouts. It's a lot of fun. I mean, difficult, challenging, but a lot of fun too.
So, Dave, as you've been gone, of course, Howie Roseman decided to trade about 1 million players since you left New Jersey. So, so I got to ask you, he found a way to trade Jalen Reagor. He turned the J-Jaw trade into a draft pick that he used as part of the Chauncey Gardner trade from the Saints. So where do we stand on Howie Roseman now? Is this his best offseason ever he's done?
On paper, yeah. I mean, he made some great moves, like you said. Traded for a safety and maneuvered some things around. Got rid of JJ, and now got rid of Jalen Reagor too, which I think Jalen will really benefit from a change in scenery, kind of like the way Nelson Aguilar did a few years ago. But we'll have to wait and see. But Howie's done a great job this offseason so far. We'll have to see how it translates onto the field. But so far, you got to give him a pretty high grade, I guess.
Should we draw any irony of Howie trading Arcega-Whiteside to Seattle and Reagor to the Vikings? Like, is there a little Howie was like, you know what? You didn't work out for me, so I'm going to trade you to the team you least want to go to.
Right. Arcega's now with DK Metcalf, and now Rager's now with Justin Jefferson. Yeah, right. that's kind of funny. Yeah, actually, I kind of felt bad for Bo Melton getting cut by the Seahawks, but it looks like he's back on the practice squad.
Yeah, he's on the practice squad.
Yeah, that'll be good for him. Some good experience, and get used to life in the NFL, and hopefully one day he'll be able to contribute to the team. A couple other local guys too. I think Marquise Bell.
He made the Cowboys roster.
Made the Cowboys, right? And
Isaiah Pacheco is a Kansas City.
Chiefs. Yeah, so we got probably like 4 or 5 guys in the NFL, and that's really cool.
Let's
Austin
talk about
Johnson, I think, and Austin Johnson with the Chargers. Yep. I'm sorry.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I was gonna say you brought them up. Let's hit on those guys real quick.
Sure.
My favorite part of Bell making the Cowboys and Pacheco making the Chiefs roster is the journey those guys went on to get where they are now.
Yeah.
I remember how big of a deal, and Dave, you've covered high school sports in this area for a very long time.
Sure.
It was a huge deal when Isaiah Pacheco decided to stay with Vineland and not go to one of the private Catholic schools. It was almost like a trend changer for that school. And Pacheco became Mr. Everything. He played quarterback, running back, kick return, punt return. He did anything they asked of him at Vineland. He goes to Rutgers and he plays well despite the fact that they were a dumpster fire when he was there. And now he's getting first team reps with Patrick Mahomes. It's absolutely incredible.
Yeah, you got to feel good for the kid. I mean, like you said, he's been on quite a journey. Played baseball for Vineland too. Very good baseball player from what I remember. But yeah, he's been through some, family tragedies and some tough times. So for him to make the most of his opportunity and get on that Chiefs active roster is great. And same thing with Marquise Bell. I remember he took a ration of stuff when he chose Maryland over Rutgers.
Yeah.
Caught a lot of heat for that. Maryland didn't turn out very well, but went to Florida A&M and had a great career there. So, and he's another one who went through some adversity, but made the most of his opportunity. So, I mean, I'm happy for both of those guys.
Yeah, I'm definitely happy for them. I'm a sucker for a good story, and especially when it's, young guys that, worked hard to get where they're going.
Sure.
And, listen, I still believe Bo Melton is going to play this year for the Seahawks because that team is so thin in talent that someone's going to get injured and he'll get some playing time. There's a possibility that all those guys play this year, significant reps.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Like, there's injuries are part of life in the NFL. And yeah, you're always one injury away from getting on the field. So you have to make sure you stay focused, stay in the playbook, learn as much as you can from the veterans, from the coaching staff. So when your opportunity does come, you make the most of it.
Back to the Eagles. I mentioned them trading for Chauncey Gardner-Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the kind of guy that makes you feel better about the Eagles defense?
Yeah. I mean, the back end of the defense was kind of like the weak spot, specifically safety. So yeah, to get him, I think significantly improves their defense. And so yeah, you have to feel good about it. I think. I mean, I don't know about going over the top with some people. We're making them Super Bowl contenders now because they picked up a safety. So I think that's a little much, but on paper they have a very good team, deep in a lot of spots. Seems solid all the way around. So I think they'll have a pretty good year.
Do you think they should be the favorites in the NFC East?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it seems like Dallas is getting all the attention, but I can't quite understand why. They seem to have traded away a lot of players, seem to have a lot of players hurt. Their offensive line's a mess. They got Dak Prescott and Zeke Elliott, and that's about it. So I don't really get what all the hype is all about. I mean, so yeah, on paper, I think the Eagles are definitely the favorites in the division.
How surprising is it to you that the Cowboys are calling Jason Peters in for a workout?
Well, that just shows you the level of desperation. I mean, Jason's got to be, I don't know, 70 years old now. I don't know. But I mean, he's probably still a serviceable left tackle. I don't know. He's definitely probably not a Pro Bowl level anymore. Or else the Eagles wouldn't have got rid of him. So, yeah, or let him go, I should say. But he's that tells you that the Cowboys are really hurting for offensive line if they're going to bring in Jason Peters for a look-see.
I mean, I guess they didn't watch the Bears games last year where he just had so much trouble last year. I mean,
yeah, he's at the end of the line. I don't know. I guess he just wants to just keep playing as long as he can. But I think he's pretty much done with his career by now, I think.
Yeah. Dave Weinberg joined us for a Weinberg Wednesday live from South Carolina, correct?
Correct. Myrtle Beach. Yep.
There we go. Try to keep my Carolinas straight over here. 97.3 ESPN. Well, Myrtle's not far from the border either, so it's not.
No. Actually, the course I played today, River's Edge, it's called. I was actually in North Carolina, I think. Because I saw a sign saying "Welcome to South Carolina" on my way back from the course. So I guess I was in North Carolina. It's kind of near Wilmington, I guess.
Oh, okay. It's I think that's the one in Shallout.
Maybe.
Because Shallout.
Yes. You're right. Yep.
I've actually been on that course.
Have you really? Yeah.
Yes.
Very, very scenic, very difficult, but it was fun. I had a good time.
There's a massive Walmart near there too. It's like the size of almost like a football stadium. It's ridiculous.
I did not happen to see that, but I'll take your word for it.
Dave, you were playing golf, so I want to ask you a little about the golf news that came out. More defectors to live, guys actually admitting now that it is about the money, that it's not about all the other fraudulent excuses they've been coming up with. How do you feel right now about all this fiasco? Because, Tiger and Rory are pounding the table for the PGA Tour, and these guys who are leaving are basically saying that, we want more money.
Yeah, I mean, they've been trying to get the PGA. I guess they've kind of developed a new format that's going to help. But I mean, I have no interest in live golf. I just don't. I don't know. I'm like, I have shotgun starts and all no cuts and 54 holes. I mean, I get that here. What do I need to watch that for? I don't. So I just don't. I mean, the money's great for them, but now that you're going to see these like Cam Smith and all these guys, what happens to the guys who signed before?
Right.
You know, because you have a limited fields and stuff. So now those guys are out on the street again and probably trying to get back to the PGA. I mean, I don't know. I just don't. I have absolutely no interest in that at all.
Yeah, the problem for me, Dave, is, and I'm not the diehard golf guy you are, so I'm coming at it from a more of like, I'm not the casual fan, I'm not the diehard, I'm like an intermediate fan.
Yeah. Okay.
I hate the idea of no cuts.
Right.
I might sound like the guy that get off my lawn kind of guy, but to me, the whole point of competition is somebody wins and somebody doesn't, and it's like, you know, the whole
there's got to be some sort of
delineation
incentive to play well, right?
Yeah,
I mean, if you don't even make the cut, you're still making $1 million some dollars. I mean, finishing whatever the bottom of a live tournament, you're still making quite a little bit of money, and there should be some sort of penalty for not playing well.
Yeah, to me, like if you're just saying anybody can play, to me, it's not competitive golf anymore. It's just a bunch of guys, you know, just doing whatever they feel like, and they happen to be well known enough because of social media and past accomplishments. Like, what's the difference then between that and, I don't know, the senior tour or something?
Right. Yeah, I'm with you there. Absolutely. I don't get it at all. I really don't.
What were your thoughts on Rory winning all over the weekend? I gotta say, you know, I was rooting for him. I like Rory, seeing Rory do well at this point.
Yeah, I am. He's a very personable guy, very a great player. I felt bad for Scotty Scheffler though. I kind of like him too, and just his attitude and his playing style and his personality. But yeah, you got to give Rory all the credit. I mean, that was a fantastic comeback. I mean, that putt that he made like 16 or 17, I guess it was, to pull into the lead or tie. That was just it's just it's amazing. The more excitement and you know, electricity you can get in a golf tournament, the better you are. You better out for it. I really like it.
Oh, absolutely. I also like the fact that the way they've kind of set up, you know, this final. I like the golf playoff. I know it's not a traditional thing, but I like the way they're doing it. It brings someone like me back into the conversation. You know what I mean?
I'm not like a huge fan of the format though. Like, you know, you start off at 8 under or 7 under. It just seems to me it should be like a regular tournament. Everybody's even Steven. They've gotten to that point. Now just see who the best player is for that 4-day period. I just don't know, like accumulating points or something leading up to that. I'm not quite sure if actually I know I don't like that. I'd rather just have an even playing field. But it is great. It is great theater. It definitely is.
Yeah, listen, I'm here for the theater, you know, and I've told you before, Dave, for someone like me, I look at it like, you know, you're not always going to get the casual fan to watch the non-major, but if you can keep the intermediate guy like me paying attention, golf's doing something right.
Oh, sure. Absolutely. Yeah. The more people watching, the better it is for them. That's definitely true.
Before I let you go, Dave, I have to ask you a very important question about this weekend in college football. Okay.
Okay.
App State is hosting North Carolina, the Tar Heels. It is almost an even Stevens on the money line right now. And depending on what book you go to, it's almost a pick'em between the Tar Heels and your Appalachian State.
Go Mountaineers.
Are you going to the game on Saturday?
No, unfortunately, I'll be back home. I'm leaving. I'm back on Friday to. Yeah, I've been away long enough.
You've been away too long.
I would have been tempted if I was still here, but unfortunately, I'm going to be back home.
I was wondering. I was just wondering.
App State, though. Yep.
I'm looking at the numbers earlier, and I immediately thought of you. You know, you and I have talked about App State a bunch of times over the years. You know.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yep.
I mean,
always find my Mountaineers. Yep.
I mean, there's a chance they can open the season with a win over North Carolina, and you know, that's one of those like wins that, you know, can do a lot for a team's morale. You know.
Oh, absolutely. Yep. I'll definitely. I get back just in time to put a little bit of money on that, I think.
Well, hopefully the line doesn't move too much by the time you get back. So
yeah, it's true. Yeah, it could. Yeah.
I mean, it opened at a 3.5 point underdog for App State, and now it's a 1 point difference. So
1 point difference. Oh, okay. Dang it. All right. I gotta hurry up and get home. Get the AC.
He's Dave Weinberg at Dave Weinberg 19 on Twitter. Check out all of his pictures of all the beautiful places he's playing golf right now while I'm still sitting here in a studio with my four walls. Dave, I appreciate you jumping on. Enjoy yourself down there and safe travels back home.
Thanks, Josh. I really appreciate it as always. I'll talk to you next week.
Josh Hennig here on Game Night on 97.3 ESPN. You heard Dave mention next week. Next week is the first full week preparation for the NFL season, and we got you covered all here on 97.3 ESPN. College football is the big weekend this weekend. Next week, it's the NFL. We got Thursday night football, Sunday night football, Eagles football, Monday night football. We got you covered all NFL season long here with all the games on 97.3 ESPN FM. And college football tomorrow night, we got Penn State versus Purdue tomorrow night. Oregon versus Georgia on Saturday afternoon, and then Saturday evening, Notre Dame versus Penn State. That's just some of the games. Sunday night, it's Florida State versus LSU, the debut of new head coach Brian Kelly. All that and more, part of a busy weekend right here on 97.3 ESPN FM. Josh Hennig hanging out with you on the final day of August. So, we will check in with you guys at the sale on the text board, 609-403-0973. You also could DM the show through the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Sea Isle. One of the texts I see is from Sam in Avalon. It's a great text he sent in, so I do want to get to that as well on the other side here on 97.3 ESPN. Josh Hennig hanging out with you.
College football on ESPN Radio.
You and we are built for this.
Georgia has won the national championship.
Defending national champion Georgia jumps right into the fire in a Week 1 showdown against Bo Nix and their Oregon Ducks. Coverage begins Saturday at 3:30 Eastern. Listen every Saturday for the nation's top college football action on 97.3 ESPN, South Jersey's football station.
New Jersey car owners, with interest rates rising, the current value of your trade is about to plummet. So drive directly to Matt Blatt Nissan because AJ the Trade Man needs your trade.
Oh, yeah, it's on at Matt Blatt Nissan.
So cash in your vehicle now before it's too late and drive home in a new Nissan today. MattBlattNissan.com. It's on at Matt Blatt Nissan. MattBlattNissan.com on the Black Horse Pike. Egg Harbor Township.
If you work remote, Staples has you covered.
Stylish office decor to turn my finished basement into a complete workspace solution.
Staples has you covered.
A desk that's all business, but not too businessy.
Staples has you covered. And now at Staples, take up to 50% off select chairs and up to 75% off select desks. Plus, with 25% off Staples furniture support, we'll assemble your new furniture and guarantee it against wear and defects. Explore solutions for your remote workspace at Staples. Ends 9/3 in-store only.
I did a site visit and the space is absolutely incredible.
Estate's Reiki Clinic is opening another studio across town.
But there's a lot to wrap up.
But staffing an entire office requires more than just deep breathing.
And at least 4 new practitioners.
Indeed can help them hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. We instantly connect you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
O'Reilly Auto Parts provides more than just the right parts for your repair. Our professional parts people can also offer free check engine light diagnosis. We can scan your vehicle and provide a list of possible fixes. Find the right parts for you or recommend a great local repair shop. Don't ignore your check engine light. Stop by your local O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Long weekends are all about getting a little you time. And at the Home Depot, you time means you building, you drilling, you doing, you recharging, you saving, and you going back for more. Do Labor Day your way and get a free 18-volt battery with select Milwaukee Power Toolkit purchases at the Home Depot. How doers get more done.
Hear ye, hear ye. Thanks for coming to the town square. First, I'd like to tell you about Steve. He's a plumber. I hear he does good work. Also, Tim. He's this new thing called a dentist. Oh, and Monica, she has a new vegan restaurant. I didn't even know that was a thing yet. Anyway, if you need those things, just wander around town and try to find them because the internet hasn't been invented yet, so I don't know.
This isn't the olden days. Now, word of mouth has gone online. At Town Square, South Jersey, we can show you how to harness the power of your existing word of mouth and amplify it online. Go to townsquarelocal.com for a free local customer analysis, where you can see how many local customers in South Jersey you could reach online. Visit townsquarelocal.com and be the Town Square today. That's townsquarelocal.com.
.97.3 ESPN and TrackPhone Wireless want to share ideas with you for enjoying the great outdoors in South Jersey. Here are some popular outdoor ideas this spring. How about taking a walk on the Ocean City, Atlantic City, or Wildwood boardwalks? Or check out the perfect place to watch a sunset. How about the Point in Longport or the Cove in Brigantine? Brought to you by TrackPhone Wireless. Now you're in control.
Something you probably do know. Progressive can not only offer you a great price when you bundle home and auto, they offer you round-the-clock protection. Something you probably don't know, the average oak tree branch can hold 70 pounds. Something you probably do know, your neighbor is building their kid a treehouse. Something you probably don't know, a falling treehouse would take out your whole fence. Bundle your home and auto with Progressive and get more than a great price. Get round-the-clock protection. Something you know for the things you don't know. Coverage from Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and third-party insurers, and subject to policy terms. Bundle discount not available in all states or situations.
You wash your hands and brush your teeth, but what about your nose? How do you clean your nose? With Navage. Navage pulls saline in one nostril, around the back of the nose, and out the other nostril, flushing out allergens, mucus, dirt, and germs, and it's why nose cleaning is the next evolution in daily personal hygiene. People try Navage for lots of reasons: sinusitis, allergies, snoring, things that make it hard to breathe through your nose. But over time, they also find that cleaning their nose makes them feel better, a lot better. Nearly 3 million Navage users have written more than 100,000 reviews, averaging 4.7 stars, saying things like, best product I've ever used, and amazing, I love my Navage. That's because Navage helps you breathe better, sleep deeper, and snore less. But the biggest payoff is improved health. Here's the key point. Navage is good personal hygiene, and it's going to help you stay healthier. At Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, Rite Aid, Bed Bath, Target, and online. Navage, Navage. Clean nose, healthy life.
GMS Law is proud to celebrate 50 years in business.
Hi, I'm Joel Chipkin, and I'm a certified civil trial attorney at GMS Law. While many significant changes have occurred within the legal system over the years, one thing that remains the same is our belief that the client comes first, all the time, every time.
Make the right call to GMS Law. Call us at 609-344-7131. That's 609-344-7131. Or visit us online at gmslaw.com.
Now, more Game Night with Josh Hennig on 97.3 ESPN and the free mobile app.
All right, let's get to some of your guys' thoughts and comments over on the text board, 609-403-0973. You also can DM the show through 97.3 ESPN, the mobile app powered by First Bank and CLC. Don't forget, you need to jump on 973ESPN.com, where the 973 ESPN mobile app is the only way you can qualify to win tickets to go see Stained in concert at Ocean Casino Resort. We're going to give away, announce 5 winners this Friday on Happy Hour Friday. So you could start Labor Day weekend with tickets to go see Stained in concert, but you got to go to 973ESPN.com or the 973 ESPN mobile app to sign up today. All right. Over on the text board, I have to first read this text from Sam in Avalon, because I think Sam has something he brings up as a very good point here. Sam says, I'm glad J.J. Arcega-Whiteside is not on the Seahawks roster. Also, Rager handled criticism terribly, and I feel that's why he didn't fit in Philadelphia. Aguilar had a ton of criticism and dealt with it and proved to us that he was better than he was letting off in the Super Bowl. That's from Sam in Avalon. A couple of things there. One, look, I don't hate J.J. Arcega-Whiteside. I understand for a lot of Eagle fans, there's a lot of frustration because a lot of Eagle fans, and this is something that is not 100% your fault, but the media has manipulated you into believing that the Eagles picked J-Jaw over DK Metcalf. The media has manipulated you and kept the facts from you. The truth is that every NFL team had a medical red flag on DK Metcalf, and the Eagles were one of the teams where the medical red flag was at a level that they were not going to draft him. The Seattle Seahawks passed on DK twice before they picked him because they also had medical concerns and questions. So the Eagles never drafted J-Jaw over DK. They drafted J-Jaw because, according to multiple reports, there was a heavy argument in the room between different people about drafting a wide receiver at that spot. And they settled on J-Jaw because apparently that was the one guy that certain people in the room insisted on drafting. Now, we are not in the room, so we don't know who exactly was pushing hard for J-Jaw and who wasn't. So I'm not going to point fingers per se. But what I am going to say is, listen, Arcega-Whiteside is on the Seahawks practice squad right now. Obviously, the Seahawks think he has some value. So read into that what you may. But I love what Sam from Avalon said about Rager. Because you're right. Me and Rob Motti talked about this a couple days ago, Sam and Avalon. Rager had a very tumultuous time in Philadelphia. And I think there were a lot of reasons why he was never going to fit here. I think it didn't help that when his best friend died in the offseason for the 2021 season, there was a lot of lacking of empathy from Eagle fans. There was never a moment where the Eagle fan said, oh man, we feel bad for him. No, a lot of Eagle fans were almost like happy that Rager was suffering because they blamed him for being a first round bust. Nobody talks about the fact that maybe Rager just doesn't have the mental fortitude to, be a Philadelphia athlete. I told you guys yesterday, one of the things I loved about the Eagles trading for Chauncey Gardner-Johnson is because he's a Philly guy in terms of he's a trash talker. He's an agitator. He gets under team's skin. He's trash talking Tom Brady. He's making the Bears swing punches at him. He's the kind of guy who's going to be a villain. And Philadelphia loves it when the villain is on their team. He fits the mold. He fits Philadelphia. Rager never fit Philadelphia. Rager was always going to be a guy who, as I said it earlier this week, and I said it before, you got to use him like Percy Harvin. You got to use him as a weapon. You got to stop treating him like he's going to be this great route running wide receiver. And Nick Sirianni, in part, was hired because he is a wide receiver coach throughout his career. And the theory is that if anyone was going to make Rager work, it was going to be Sirianni. And Sirianni, over time, buried him on the depth chart. And I think I told you everything you need to know. It was a failure in terms of Eagles evaluation. And you're right, Sam and Avalon. Aguilar was not great. But that Super Bowl season, he had a huge part in that offense as a slot receiver. And he proved that he was capable of being a good NFL receiver. Maybe not a first-round talent because he was drafted in the first round by Chip Kelly. But he definitely has the ability to play in the NFL. And you can only hope that Rager can find himself in Minnesota or he'll be out of the league really quick. Also on the text board, 609-403-0973. Danny HC says, I think Howie Roseman feels like the Eagles are really close to being the team in the NFC East. What do you think, Josh? I think Howie sees that there's an opening here. Despite the fact that Cowboys don't want to hear this, their team lost a lot of talent from last year. And I think Mike McCarthy is going to destroy that organization. He's going to need to be fired in order for them to go anywhere. You can't win championships when coaches like Jason Garrett and Mike McCarthy are not putting your players in the best position to be successful. You have a top 10 quarterback in the NFL in Dak Prescott, and he's got subpar talent around him this year. He's got a horrible offensive line in front of him. He's got a good two-headed backfield, but who's blocking for them? Okay, you lost Amari Cooper for mediocre draft picks. CeeDee Lamb is going to be a stud, but Michael Gallup's coming off an injury, and you're hoping that Dalton Schultz takes you to the next level. That's a lot of hoping going on. That's not a lot of practicality. I think Howie Roseman sees the Cowboys are in a down year. He sees the Giants are in a rebuild, and Washington is basically what-if city. Everything about Washington's potential this year is what if Carson Wentz plays well? What if they stay healthy? What if the offensive line plays well? What if the defense doesn't get off to a cold start like they did last year? So, Danny, I think Howie Roseman is making all these moves in part because he sees his opponents around the NFC East and sees that it's there for the taking. And look, I'm not purposely ignoring this anonymous Cowboy fan messaging in saying, you guys love Dallas hating. Same every year, shaking my head. Well, first of all, texter, anonymous Cowboys fan, you don't listen to me, obviously, because for multiple years, I have praised Dak Prescott. I had praised different players on Dallas. Mike Gill has picked Dallas to win the NFC East multiple times over the years. So have I. So I don't love Dallas hating, but I do love pointing out that Mike McCarthy is a stiff and he's overrated as a head coach. And I think he was a horrible choice by Jerry Jones. And I think if Jerry Jones wants to win a Super Bowl anytime soon, what he's going to do is he's going to let go of Mike McCarthy after this year. And I think he'll bring in Sean Payton and they will be a Super Bowl contender because Sean Payton is going to have the gravitas and the spine to go to his owner and say, these moves are not good enough. We need to do more. We can do more. You're the Dallas Cowboys, okay? Here's the deal, anonymous Cowboy fan. The problem with Dallas is that you are the Dallas Cowboys and you got a garbage offensive line. You've had multiple injuries with your team. You didn't adequately replace them. You're giving a top 10 quarterback mediocre talent. Now, if that means I love hating Dallas, well, then you and my definition is different because I'm being a realist. Anonymous Cowboys fan says Hurts is a garbage quarterback and that every ESPN insider disagrees with me on the talent's roster. That's not true. I've seen tons of ESPN people, from Field Yates to Mike Clay to others who think the Eagles have a good roster. Everyone's question about the Eagles is not the roster. Whether you watch NFL Network, whether you watch ESPN, whether you watch Fox Sports, whether you read Jeff Kerr and the folks over at CBS Sports, everyone's question about this team is the quarterback. It's not that I suppose I know better. It's that I know what I see. And what I see is an Eagles team that made massive upgrades to their roster. So I recommend to anonymous Cowboy fan who, unlike other texters and messengers at 609-403-0973, or who are DMing the show through the 973 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Sea Isle, most people believe the Eagles have a very good roster. But if you want to believe that everyone hates the Eagles roster, you go right ahead and go sign Jason Peters to be your left tackle and see how that works out for you. Jeff in Ocean City chimes in and says it'll be a major disappointment if the Eagles don't win the division. And if that happens, Hurts will be gone. Jeff in Ocean City is 100% right. This is a make or break year for Jalen Hurts, not just as the Eagles quarterback, but as an NFL quarterback. People don't have patience with players anymore. They either put up or shut up in this league. And I think that Jalen Hurts, if he does not take the steps forward that everyone expects him to in the Eagles organization, he will be gone. The Eagles will use their 2 first-round picks next year to draft a new one. And if they don't win the division, Howie Roseman is going to be on the hot seat unless there's a ton of injuries. And then, I don't know, you blame Sirianni then? Or does Gannon choke this year? So much to talk about. We only had an hour to talk about it. I'll be back tomorrow filling in for Mike Gill on the Sports Bash, 2 to 6, 97.3 ESPN.
Hey, it's Tom P., host of Rack and Fin Radio, inviting you to join me every Saturday morning at 7 here on 97.3 ESPN FM. Each week, we discuss the hot topics affecting the sportsmen and sportswomen in New Jersey. Hunting, fishing, boating, conservation, and Second Amendment topics are some of the issues that are covered in depth.
Rack and Fin Radio is sponsored by Holtz Boatworks and Batteries Plus Bulbs. Check out Rack and Fin Radio every Saturday morning at 7 on 97.3 ESPN FM, South Jersey sports leader.
Long weekends are all about getting a little you time. And at the Home Depot, you time starts with you saving. Saving space with an HDX 27-gallon tough tote for only $13.98. Saving time with a free and fast-charging 18-volt battery when you buy select Milwaukee Power toolkits. And saving you a trip with free delivery on over 1 million items. Do Labor Day your way with savings right now at the Home Depot. How doers get more done.
Health Update with Robin Stoloff. Learn more, live better.
To weigh or not to weigh? That is the question. When we're trying to lose weight, how often should we weigh ourselves? Experts have differing opinions. Some say to weigh ourselves every day. That has been successful in many weight loss programs. But our weight can fluctuate daily, so it could be discouraging to hop on the scale and not see any weight loss, or worse yet, weight gain. That's why some experts say to weigh ourselves weekly. Or we could weigh in once a month, especially if our goal is just to maintain our weight. And then others say we should not weigh ourselves at all, but go old school with the my pants are getting too tight method. But if you want to be more precise, body fat percentage and BMI or body mass index are other important indicators. And today's scales can measure both weight and body fat. Bottom line, it's what works for you. I'm Robin Stoloff for Health Update.
Health Update with Robin Stoloff, empowering you to live a healthier life.
Let's be real. Mopping is a hassle. You have to fill the bucket, pushing a wet, heavy mop around, then cleaning the mop when you're done so it doesn't grow bacteria. A hassle on top of a hassle. Try Swiffer Wet Jet.